Hey folks, it's Schwell here doing another video. This one is going to be an update to the previous videos I've done on the Baby Desert Eagle 2 in 9mm. What you see here is what I had at the range minus a couple of boxes. I didn't bring all of the boxes back, just a couple. This one's actually empty. This one has a couple of things that I want to go over before the video is over. Baby Desert Eagle did come with these two magazines. I have more magazines en route, as well as a couple of CZ75 magazines, because there is talk that they actually fit. But I believe the only difference between this one and the CZ magazines I have en route are the notches on the magazines. Meaning the ones from the CZ75 will not be ambidextrous. The Baby Desert Eagle 2 is empty. I will break this down really quickly just so you guys can see what the outcome of the 200 rounds looks like. Try and give you a close-up of any of the buildup that we see in here. Now, most of the stuff that you'll see are the residuals or what's left after going through 200 rounds from the Tula ammo, which isn't the cleanest stuff on the market. As most of you know, it's steel case. This gun has been pre-treated with frog glue multiple times actually since the last range visit. There's quite a bit of copper buildup on the ramp, and you know that's going to happen based on the type of ammo that you use. That's very expected. There is a lot of dirt built up here. Again, this gun was treated with frog glue, and all I have to do is give it a nice wipe down, and it is ready to be put back together and ready for the next range trip until I'm ready to give it a thorough cleaning and another application of the frog glue, which usually I do with my firearms after about 500 rounds of use. And 500 rounds is usually maybe two or three range visits. Anything more than that for me, it just becomes overkill. Though it's not bad for it, I just don't like to break the guns down, have them apart and in pieces being cleaned so much. Now, if you notice, this is just a quick wipe down. I haven't run anything down the bore, and that copper buildup that I just showed you was gone. Again, frog glue. I really love this stuff. I've treated my shotgun, my ARs, all of my pistols, everything. I've even had frog glue days where I've had family members come over with their firearms and we've treated all of them. Now this gun has about, I guess, 475 rounds to it currently, and this is all through by me. I'm trying to keep track of everything on the complete round count and showing how well the gun is performing. And this was a new rag, and a lot of that stuff is just wiping right off, guys. Alright, now on to some of the more important stuff. I can't say that firing this gun was problem free for me the entire time. One of the big things that I still have to get used to is when the gun is operating in single action. That trigger pull is so soft that I've had a couple of instances where it fired when I wasn't expecting it to fire. And again, anytime your finger's on the trigger, you should expect it to fire. That's why every time I'm handling it, the gun is actually pointed down range. But this range trip, I think I had 2 instances where I pulled the trigger and didn't intend to. But my biggest concern or complaint or issue that I found with this firearm so far, the last range trip I had 3 failures to fire. This range trip I had 6. I'll get you some close-up pictures of this stuff. I'm not really sure how well I'm getting this into the camera, but there were 6 of these, and these were all the same ammo. The last time I went, there was a mix of the types of ammo I was using. It was the Winchester, the Tula, so there wasn't a consistency there where I could say whether or not it was one type of ammo, one brand, or if it was the actual gun. This type of ammo isn't the most expensive, isn't the highest of quality, so I'll have to put quite a few more of these through the gun, as well as other rounds and other brands, just so that I can go through a process of elimination to see if it's the gun or if it's the ammunition itself. Hopefully I can lean towards the ammunition, and when everything recovers in the industry again, I'll be able to buy higher quality stuff for it. These 6, I did not run them through the gun a second time. Whenever I had the failure to fire, I ejected the round and put it to the side. I did not try and run them through a second time. The last time I went to the range, the 3 that failed to fire, I was able to run them through a second time and they did fire. But I did not want to do that this time because I wanted to show you guys what was going on with this range trip. And we'll see what happens the next time I go. I got a box of Winchester and a box of Remington sitting in wait. So the next range trip I'll be able to put at least 50 rounds of each of those through the gun and see if I'm still having the same malfunction or the same outcome. That hard primer situation is a little concerning to me because I've used the Tula ammo in the past quite a bit in all of my other platforms and I've never experienced this before. But you know, you talk to a couple of the range officers and you talk to a couple of the other patrons and they all say it more than likely the ammo. My experience in the past doesn't say that, doesn't back that up, because this is the first firearm, the first pistol that I've ever encountered this with. And I've shot quite a few and quite a bit in my lifetime. So for this to be the first time I am experiencing it, it's probably rare for someone to go this long and not see it in person, but we'll see. Again, I'm just going to keep pushing along and hopefully I'll be able to make a decision or determination on what is causing it, whether it's the pistol and it needs to go back or if it's just the type of ammunition. And it very may well be a combination of the two. This particular pistol may not like this ammo at all, and we'll see. While trying not to disappoint, I was able to grab one of the targets while I was there. The middle section is right before I left. I ran 3 magazines through the gun right before I left. This is just me getting some downrange shots. This is at 15 yards. This grouping here. Now the rest of these were done at 7 yards. The first 2 magazines were down here at the bottom left. And then the third magazine was top right. And then from the top right I went top left, and then from top left I went to the bottom right. Now I will add, I'm not the best shooter. I will never claim to be the best shooter. That's why I go to the range and practice quite a bit. Because of my physical limitations and my condition, there are certain things that I am unable to do with efficiency, or at least at the level that I think that I should be. 10 years ago, my groupings were outstanding. Not so much now with my eyesight the way it is. Shooting anywhere at an angle, a downward angle, has proven to be one of the most difficult angles and the difficult shots that I can take and make. That's with a pistol, with a rifle. I'm not sure what it is that's going on with my eyesight that prevents me from making shots that are at a downward angle. And so what you see here is not a reflection of the pistol itself, but a reflection of my limitations. But this does give you an idea. Like I said, I'm not a great shot at all, but this does give you an idea of what an intermediate shooter can do with the Baby Desert Eagle 2 9mm. The first magazine actually accounted for most of the on-target hits here, this nice grouping here, this opening, and these 3 shots that went up high. Now, the 3 shots that went up high were towards the end of the magazine, and then I tried to make adjustments, and that's where I ended up with this grouping down here. If you can even call it a grouping. You start off a little consistent, and then you start making too many adjustments and outthinking yourself. But the gun did shoot where I pointed it, and that's what this is all about, is trying to get feedback on how accurate the gun is itself, but not how accurate the shooter is, because if that was the case, then I fail horribly. This grouping was just terrible on my part. Again, that downward angle, I just could not make adjustments. When I started to make adjustments, I was ending up with these. But if you notice, there are only 8 shots out of the 12 for this particular magazine. 4 of the hard primers happened on this grouping here. That one magazine had 4 of them. And again, I'm not really sure what's causing it. Only time will tell, in a different approach to some of my range visits. Magazine number 3 was probably the most consistent magazine that I went through as far as my performance is concerned, but the gun, for me, performed well. Now, I'm talking through all of this, but you guys can get a general idea of how consistent this firearm can be and how inconsistent the shooter can be. Magazine number 4 was quite consistent as well. The annotation says magazine number 4 to ammo at 7 yards, 1 flyer. That 1 flyer isn't actually a flyer, it's actually a hard primer. But again, I was trying to hit that diamond, made an adjustment toward the end, and that's where you get that one way down there at the bottom. But the grouping was very consistent for my skill level, and I was extremely satisfied with this magazine. And this is just me familiarizing myself with the gun a little bit more and not really thinking about testing and trying to hit accurate shots. But what I was doing during this was a drill that I just read about, where at every second I was firing a round, and then I doubled that pace and fired a round at every count. So I was going 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and firing a shot at the count. So when I hit 1, I was hitting a shot. When I hit 2, I was taking a shot. Then the second magazine in this group, I went 1 and 2 and 3. Instead of 1 1,000, it was 1 and 2. Again, taking the shots on the number count, which was speeding things up. And I just continued to go that way and just keep getting faster and faster with every magazine. A couple of the hard primers happened during all of this. And again, this was right before I left. So I think the gun performed really well. I didn't do too bad on this exercise. I actually enjoyed doing it, and this was at 15 yards. So this is a vast improvement over what it was when I went through my NRA certification. Oh, that was terrible. Boy, oh boy, was that terrible. I do not regret making this purchase at all. It was money well spent. I enjoy taking it to the range. I enjoy the outcome. I enjoy the feel. So far, I've enjoyed the experience, minus those hard primer situations or occurrences that we're seeing. Again, I will try and get to the bottom of that. I'm also going to be trying to do a weekly video where I go to the range, money permitting. Go ahead and check out the Guns, Guts, and Glory network. It is the network that I am a part of. Check out that channel. They have tons of great content providers. There's a lot of great information out there. I may be the only airsofter in the group, but as you can see, I'm also sprinkling in real steel stuff. But they have a lot of real steel experience. They have a lot of stuff that they can share with you. And it's just been great. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I'm not just making these videos just to make them, which honestly I am. I just need something to do, something that's going to get me out of the house, get me moving on through everything that I got going on. And I really do appreciate the support, and I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Please stay tuned for more. We're going to do a little bit more airsoft stuff, a lot more real steel stuff, ammo permitting. You know, that's the biggest thing these days, is getting ammo. Here in Central Florida, it's extremely hard, and when it's not hard, it's extremely expensive. So stay tuned, and hope you guys are out there having fun, being safe, and also being responsible, and I'll hit you with the 2 fingers. Later.